Welcome back to Kingdom Leadership for the Marketplace. I am your host, Dr. Alexis Crawford, and the subject of today's episode is Empowered to Lead, a lesson from Moses. Should you have ever experienced a sense of being overwhelmed by leadership responsibilities or contemplated how to empower others without compromising your authority, this episode is tailored for you. Let us delve into a compelling model of spirit-led leadership presented in chapter 11 of the book of Numbers. In Numbers chapter 11, Moses experienced considerable distress. The people expressed dissatisfaction. His burden was substantial, and he fervently appealed to God. In response, God commanded Moses to convene 70 elders from among the tribes, assuring him that he would impart to them the same spirit that was imparted to Moses. This moment transcended mere relief for Moses. It constituted a significant act of decentralizing leadership through the empowerment of the Holy Spirit. However, it is at this juncture that the narrative takes a notable turn. Two designated individuals, Eldad and Medad, remained in the encampment. They were not present with the other elders at the tent of meeting. Nevertheless, the Spirit of God still rested on them, leading them to prophesy in the very location that they occupied. Now, Joshua, the assistant to Moses, expressed grave concern and promptly approached Moses, exclaiming, "My Lord, Moses, stop them." He intended to safeguard Moses' standing among the people. However, Moses, exhibiting remarkable humility, replied in a manner that epitomizes genuine kingdom leadership. But Moses said to him, "Are you jealous for my sake? Would that all the Lord's people were prophets, that the Lord would put his spirit on them." Numbers 11:29. Consider this perspective. Moses did not perceive shared leadership as a threat, but he embraced it. From this encounter, we can draw out 5 significant leadership principles. Number 1, shared leadership is God's design. Moses did not cling to authority. He embraced the inclusion of others in leadership roles, recognizing that the mission entrusted by God is too expansive for a single person. It necessitates collaboration and a sense of community, Mark 6:7 and Luke 10:1. Number 2, spirit-led empowerment. Eldad and Medad demonstrated that leadership is not always about being in the right place according to human standards. When God chooses to anoint you, geography and formality do not matter. Acts 1:8. Number 3, humility in leadership. Moses could have experienced jealousy or even defensiveness, but he chose instead to rejoice in the knowledge that God was using others in his divine plan. Genuine leaders do not perceive the success of others as a threat. Instead, they foster, nurture, and encourage it. Philippians 2:3 and 1 Thessalonians 5:11. Number 4, prophetic culture over personal power. Rather than lording over the people, Moses chose leadership teamwork rather than a system that was dependent on one man. As leaders promoting faith in the workplace, we must empower believers to discern God's voice and operate under the Holy Spirit. Zechariah 4:6. And number 5, training successors without insecurity. Joshua's apprehension illustrates how effortlessly we can feel possessive regarding roles and titles. However, Moses teaches that cultivating new leaders does not constitute a threat, but rather it represents the realization of God's grander design. 1 Thessalonians 5, verses 12 and 13, and 2 Timothy 2, verses 1 and 2. So, here's a question. Are we building teams that depend solely on us, or building leaders who can move the work forward? Moses' leadership model is a prophetic picture of the New Testament church, where the Spirit is poured out on all flesh, where sons and daughters prophesy, and where leadership is not centralized around one person, but around the movement of God through his people, even in the workplace. Joel 2:28 and 29, and Acts 2:17 and 18. Let's talk about personal application. As kingdom entrepreneurs, leaders in the workplace, or organizational builders, we must remember this. Our success is not evaluated based on the number of individuals who rely solely on us. Instead, it is assessed by the extent to which we empower others to listen, adhere to the established workplace principles, and lead. We aspire to be leaders who, like Moses, can express without envy, "Would that all the Lord's people were prophets," and cultivate workplace environments wherein the Spirit of God can operate freely through us and through others. If this episode has benefited you, please share it with another leader who may need encouragement. Furthermore, it is essential to remember that when we lead by following God's principles, we make a lasting impact. So therefore, let us lead, build others, and advance God's kingdom within our spheres of influence in the workplace. God be praised. Thank you to Apostles Dana and Janae Farley for the gift of this podcast platform. It is an honor to connect, inspire, and share with our audience under your leadership. We celebrate how Yeshua's kingdom is advancing through the Freedom Center Global. We are building a legacy that echoes heaven's call. And remember to spend your day with the King and follow his lead. Shalom, shalom.